welcome to the 12 days of Christmas. Today I wanted to do a video all about custom curated palettes. These are one of my absolutely favorite things to do during the holidays or even as like a birthday gift is a custom curated makeup palette. So we're at Unhidden Beauty Co. today and I wanted to do an entire tutorial on how you can create a custom palette. Now, the mission of Unhidden Beauty is to empower everyone to feel confident wearing eyeshadow if they want to. Whatever the skill, whatever your ability is, it's to use eyeshadow and other makeup as a tool for self-expression. It goes along with my whole, not really theme, but my whole motto of makeup is my therapy. I did post the other day on my channel, a Get Ready With Me, about why I post to YouTube, why I'm still uploading. Go check out that video if you're interested in that. Get ready with me. But today we're going to dive into Unhidden Beauty and create a custom holiday palette today. We're going to go to unhiddenbeautyco.com. You'll come to the home page. I do suggest you create an account. That way you can save any progress you have made if you have to come back to your palette later. So if you click Custom Palette, you're going to come right into the customizer, and they do have so many different options right now. They have an 8 shade palette, a 12 shade palette, and then a 20 shade palette. And sometimes these can get overwhelming the bigger that you go with a palette. I am going to start with an 8 shade palette today, and I do have an image that we are going to kind of base the design of this off of. Here is the photograph that we're going to be using for the cover of the eyeshadow palette. I did get this from unsplash.com. It is a free site where you can get images that photographers will collaborate with. So we're going to be using this as an example today. We're going to be calling this the Holiday Glam Eyeshadow Palette, and I want it to have this like Christmas theme to it. So let's go back into our palette here. We're going to do the 8 shade palette. We're going to click on shades. Now I'm the type of person who really likes cool neutral shades. So we're going to start out with Fro. This is like a taupey brown shade, and we really want to give it some depth and dimension. So you can either scroll through, and you'll notice that as you scroll, it splits each section into what type of eyeshadow these are. So you have like, these are mattes, satin, metallics. You do have shimmer shades. You have bronze shades and glitter shades. Now, if you get way too overwhelmed looking at all of these shades at once, we're going to go into the filters section down here. Hit all, and if you only want a matte shade for this time, you select matte and it filters everything down into a matte shade. So we have Fro, which is this taupe shade right here. I'm going to pick a shadow that is going to deepen up any eyeshadow look that you get, and I'm going to use Alpine. This is also a more cool tone brown. Now looking at the picture that we're kind of basing this palette off of, there are some warm tones in here. It's very Christmassy, and that's how I want this palette to feel. So we're going to use some red shades as well. I think red is a great Christmas shade. There are some great matte shades that Unhidden Beauty has to offer. So we have Cinnabar, which is a very bright red, and then I think I'm just going to finish off this eyeshadow palette with some neutral shades. So one more matte up top, and then I think I'm going to just design it with 4 shimmer shades on the bottom, or even like a glitter shade. So let's go in with, when I think of any kind of like holiday glam palette, I think of like a really dark shade, and there's actually a satin shade that I want to use. So we're going to go in, clear all of our filters, and we're going to choose Stallion. That is it's like a dark brown shade. I think this is a great combination. You can do kind of like a cinnamony, reddish look. It definitely is very resembling of this photograph so far. So now let's go down to the bottom row. I want this to be all metallics, glitters, some very like shimmery shades. First one I'm going to pick out is Area Dorota. Sorry. Don't know how to pronounce that, but this is like a gold shade, and I think it's definitely reflective of this photograph. It reminds me of Christmas lights. The next shade I want to pick is going to be like a green shade, and I want it to be metallics. We have Charmed. That's kind of a green shade, and then we also have, there's another shade in here, I know. Selva. That's beautiful. We have Lima. That one is like a really rich lime green, and it reminds me of the Grinch actually. And we have Crystallite, which that one's beautiful, and I think with these brown shades it'll look really beautiful. It'll be really grungy looking. Next, I want to pick like a red shade, something that's going to be a shimmer on your eyelid. And I really want, like, there's Mulberry Muse, that's a very like berry toned shade. There's Ignite, that's beautiful as well. Let's see what else we have here. We have Bank, which is like a copper tone. Pomelo. If you don't like a shade, you can always click the X button and it'll get rid of it right away. There's Linda, Shreya, Sunset. I want something that's going to be a berry Christmas tone. What is this one here? So if you hit Info, Pameo is the prettiest of pinks with a soft gold shimmer. It will leave your lids glowing. I don't know if I want one. Let's try a duochrome. Oh no. All right then, so let's go in and filter by reds and purples and golds. So now this completely shows you reds, purples, and gold toned eyeshadows. I think we're gonna go with Ignite. I'm gonna clear my filters. And last but not least, I would like something that can be used as like an inner corner highlight. And I want it to be very bright. I like this shade right here. It's called Addie. I think that'll be really pretty. Or maybe we should do Bougie. What is Bougie? Classy Bougie, and we are completely in love with it. Let's see, Addie. Yeah, so this would be a great brow bone highlight. So I think we're going to use Addie. So now that we have chosen all of our shades, let's take a look at our picture since I am designing it after this. I think that's pretty spot on for a color story. So now the next thing you're doing after you have all of your shades is I would suggest saving this. So I'm going to name this the Holiday Glam Palette 2022. Hit Create. Now it is saved in your palettes. You just exit out of that, and then we're going to go into the design portion. This is where you're going to upload your picture. So in my picture, I'm going to upload it here. You have a box, and you are going to want to keep the constraints of the picture within that box. So you minimize it down to what you want it to be. So I'm going to have it like kind of near the presents on the tree. I think that's a great spot for it. Next, we're going to go in with the title of the palette. If you hit cover text down at the bottom here, you can choose whatever font you want. So let's just say we're going to do Holiday Glam 2022. And then you can choose whatever font you want it to be. Do I want it to be very like scripty? Holiday Glam, that almost reminds me of like Dr. Seuss. I think we're going to go with Yesteryear, and then next to font right here you can pick the color, and I want this to be a red color. I'm just going to make that smaller so you can actually see it. And you'll see there are guidelines, and it'll show you like when you're right in the middle of the palette. I think that looks gorgeous. So now we can go in with our shade names, and we're going to rename our shades if we want to. So I'm going to name this one Cookie Batter, Hot Chocolate, Cinnamon and Spice, No Coal Here. This one's going to be Silver and Gold, Tannenbaum for Christmas Tree. What are we going to name this one? Peppermint. Peppermint Mocha, and then the last one is going to be Holiday Magic. So you'll notice that all of the names changed to down here as well. So if you weren't able to edit them directly on the palette, you can edit them here as well. So we're going to save this again. It'll already have the name saved. And then if you want to actually purchase it, it'll do a breakdown of all of the shades for you, how you named them. It'll show you a design. And I usually like this green capture the design, just so I can see how it was laid out when I do actually get the palette. Now, if you are all set, you can check out. You can buy this palette, or you can keep it in your saved. It does show Holiday Glam Palette 2022. If you want to go ahead and check out, you can, or if you want to take a look at the palette before you check out, right here it's going to show you what the palette looks like. And you can zoom in and see what it looks like with the cover, the actual cover photo, and then the actual palette itself with nothing behind it. That is an absolutely stunning palette. I would definitely use this for my holiday glam. It's a little bit of an edginess with the red in there. It does have some neutrals. It's very inspiring from this Christmas photograph on the front cover. So I already have it in my cart. And once it's in my cart, you just hit checkout. Okay, now that we're in the checkout, I do have an affiliate code. This will save you 15%. So if you use StaciLR15, you apply the discount and you do save a percentage off. Now, shipping is always calculated at checkout, and it'll be based on where you live. Curated holiday palette that is a great gift idea. It can be for yourself, for somebody else. You can design it after an image. You can design it after a person's personality, their likes, their dislikes. You can go in and custom curate all of the shade names. And it's just a fun Christmas idea. Now, if you guys want to see this palette, I will put it in the description box down below. It is available for purchase. I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope I get to see you in my next one. Bye!